Hello and welcome to the Zooming Who's podcast, and I am your host, Dustin DaHusky.
And Kurdan Sourpuss.
I had just clicked the live button when you just got up, so
This actually looks kind of nice.
actually, to be honest, this is a better way.
Yeah.
Kurdan just upgraded his bed, so now he's got an actual, really incredibly well made bed.
Yes.
To which now we're using his old bed, which is what is this? A
Futon.
Which really works good as a couch. I mean, it actually, this kind of makes this area a little bit more functional. And this actually kind of makes it a little bit more professional in the sense of podcasting. Not that we're actually professionals, because we're not professionals.
Don't ever call me that.
So,
I'm a professional loaf.
There's a few things we're going to be discussing, but I know we had a few notes the last time that we didn't get to that we could probably discuss first because notes. And there's some new stuff that we can talk about along the way. So what was some things that we decided? We already talked about that. Does this go down?
Yeah, but this was the last big clump.
Oh, so this is going up.
Yeah.
Oh, so then we never wrote. Okay, so then looks like we're going off on the new stuff fresh in this past week.
I mean, we didn't talk about Grammarly.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so Grammarly. Let us talk about grammar. Well, I clean my glasses because, of course. All right, so you went to school.
Yeah, I did.
Many moons ago, you gone to another school.
Okay, let's not make it sound like it's that far away.
You're making it seem like it. I'm just saying that
a couple of moons ago.
Okay, so you went to school before.
Yes.
Where did you go for?
Like most recently?
No, that's why I say many moons ago. I'm referring to when you gone to school the first time. When you went to Wabansi.
Oh,
that's what I was referring to without saying how long ago it was.
Well, it wasn't clear to me. I majored in journalism, and then I had a second.
You had a second degree with a minor, or was it a major in English?
No,
or in writing.
It was in writing and arts as well. So
the Poos is quite the knowledgeable Poos.
I'm well versed in the English language, at least. I know pretty much.
You've helped me with a lot of some of my English essays too.
Sure. I mean,
my history papers, my resumes, my cover letters. This cat is the first person to get any rough copy, besides some of my teachers or what have you, to make sure that I don't fuck up. And I've been landing jobs ever since. So the sourpuss knows what he's doing.
I mean, I know the difference between there and there and there. The three theirs. There on the wrong side of the fence.
Okay, so what we're trying to say here is that the sourpuss knows English. I am not an English major. I'm not even an English minor. I didn't even actually do anything with English as far as a subject that went towards a degree of mine. Move this just a little. There we go.
Plenty of room.
There we go.
And then you spill hot soup on your crotch and balls.
Yeah, and then I just get tasty tomato balls. But I know how to write pretty well.
Yes.
Despite that I'm more an engineer, a mathematician, more than anything else, or a accountant, which I absolutely enjoy because it involves math. If it involves math, mechanics, or like engineering, physics, chemistry, which if it involves math, yes. If we're going to go into chemical, no, that's stupid. That's dumb. But English, I can write pretty damn good. Because you know why? Microsoft Word. Because it's the beauty of typing on Microsoft Word and a little angry red squiggle beneath the word that you mess up, and you right click and it'll tell you, oh, did you mean da-da-da? It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, that does sound a lot better. Okay. Oh, you spelt, no, you have referred there wrong. The word there in this sentence is incorrect. You got that angry red squiggle. You right click. Did you mean this there? Like, yeah. And then an entire sentence and an entire paragraph just goes nice and smoothly. Now, this is Microsoft Word. That's just standard thing on Microsoft Word, right?
Very simple, very basic.
Now, what did we see on a YouTube ad, which is something we also going to talk
What
about
do we
too?
always see? I see it like 20 times a day.
What is it?
Grammarly.
Grammarly. And the other derivatives of this type of service is that it tells professionals how to type.
Well,
I get it.
Professionals.
I mean, people who make a career in something that make emails. They went to business school. They've done something. Hello, Alpha. I have a spoon. And the Poos has nachos. And I've got a tomato sauce between the legs. So we're discussing Grammarly. Oh, and he just ran away. Oh, I scared him with tomato.
Oh, he doesn't like tomato.
Sorry about that. So there are people in the professional business world. It doesn't matter what kind of maybe business, but you're sending an email. Hey, such and so, Mr. Smith. And that's all that you type is absolute gibberish. I don't know how you manage to get through school, through grade school, middle and high school, college, and yeah. And then you land a good job. And now you can't write an email very well.
All of a sudden, they just forget basic common English.
Right. I'm not saying that you should be a whiz at English. I'm not a whiz at English because you know what? I'm engineering Hoosk. I like math. Math is my friend. But I can type, but it may not be that best. And you know my English, and it's not that good. It's good, but not that great. But there are some things about Grammarly that just makes me think. It makes also you think.
Oh, it makes my head hurt.
Yeah. Like, how did people get this far that they still need to have a service that helps proofread your work?
You know, they've actually edited those adverts too. The African American gentleman mentions that he does this and that online, and on the side he also has a superhero blog where he writes fan fiction about superheroes.
Okay.
They don't talk about that anymore.
What's that?
They changed his backstory.
Oh.
Because it was too.
What's too? I'm not
sure. It was not good. It was not.
Oh, wait. You mean as far as the advertisement itself?
It was just naughty. Like, it implied bad things about that particular character in the commercial.
I actually didn't. Wait, is this a Grammarly commercial?
Yeah. That character's still on the commercial, but they've changed his backstory. You're getting a ball.
What? No. I'm just throwing this out because I don't want this.
I'll put it in there.
I need to throw this out because I refuse to have this with holes sit on.
I know.
It would be easier just to throw it in here, or I'm going to throw it in the bathroom, or I'm going to throw it in my room. Or I'm going to fling it around this room, and then we'll find it a few months later. Then it's going to smell like tomato and my balls. Also, I'm going to have you discuss. I'm going to go find some salts.
So I don't know if you know or noticed, Alpha, this character on the Grammarly commercial, but he did write fan fiction for a while. They don't write it anymore because it implied too many bad things about his character that he portrayed in the commercial. And they edited themselves basically, which I thought was kind of hilarious.
So Grammarly edited their own ad of an individual because I don't even know how to even describe that.
About a made-up character. made up character in the blog.
They've used the same name.
I don't know if they actually reuse names.
They probably reuse actors.
I mean, it's the same actor, clearly. He just doesn't mention his. He doesn't mention his blog anymore.
That's interesting.
They've changed his like backstory.
That's really, really interesting.
So yeah, that's one thing. One of many things that I thought was pretty hilarious about the
Grammarly.
Grammarly app.
It's just, I get it. Not everyone's a whiz at English. I understand. You know what? Okay. But that would be for ordinary people. Ordinary people, just ordinary people in ordinary world. But if you are in some mega company at the headquarters of a company,
Yeah,
and you have to use Grammarly,
that's pretty bad.
you're pretty lucky that you got there. While Yahoo, Gmail, AOL, I feel old because I just mentioned this. Of course, Microsoft Word and the little paperclip guy that a lot of people don't know.
I love the paperclip guy.
Oh, he was so chill. He would tap on the glass and freak me out. So there are services, and it's almost standard on a lot of other programs too. Websites, it'll let you know when you spell a word wrong, and you have a choice to actually correct it. Even your own phone
I mean,
will tell you when you have a bad word. It'll even let you know right away.
Almost every app has built-in spell check.
So
Grammarly tries to basically rewrite people's entire, like their whole thought process, and slim it down, make it shortened, have it make more clear sense, use better words, this and that. I mean,
it's almost an easy way out in some cases. It's not so much of fixing the wrong word or the wrong spelling of the word, but it almost seems like they're entirely changing the way how you think and write.
Yeah. It makes people lazy too.
And especially in a business setting, in any other part of the word, you could be typing it on a Microsoft Word and come out pretty good. But you have to pay, and I don't know if you have to pay. I think you may have to pay for service because, like anything,
Grammarly, I'm sure it costs money.
Yeah, so you're going to pay money for Grammarly when you could go on Microsoft Word for free just to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, you pay for Microsoft Word if you get a new computer, which is stupid because I had to download all that stuff onto my new computer. No, I had to buy the rights to use it again. It was so strange, but that's a service that's just provided. Once you buy it, it's there. I don't like the idea that I had to pay for it, but there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I paid, I donated money one time to Wikipedia because I count on it so much for like a lot of things. I mean, I look up stuff about music. I look up people's filmographies on there, actors, all the movies that people have been in. So I consider, donating money to me paying for it.
Right.
One time. I'll never donate money again.
I mean,
because I gave them $60.
I have not actually yet. Yes, Alpha, you have said it just perfectly. Money is the root of all evil. It's a necessary evil in our society, but it is the root of all evil. Yes. We're always chasing it because rent, mortgage,
need
money for soup,
food, drink,
money to pay for spoon, and
money for commission, sir.
Oh yes, that is so close. Wow. Okay, moving on. Yeah, money is the root of all evil.
I basically could stick the microphone.
I don't know where you're going with that, but I mean, I know, but
why does this microphone smell? No,
it keeps going there, man. I don't know why we keep going there. Anyway,
you smell.
Okay, all right. So now we're going to just keep on going to the next subject. That is, I got my booster shot on Thursday morning. And Thursday was pretty good. Pretty good day. Can't really say anything because you know what? It was a good day. Went to an auto wrecker yard. Took parts from a ragtop Cavalier that, you know, I figured I could still get while the car was still existing before they would crush it like a tin can.
What parts did you get?
The snoot. I took the snoot off. So now I have another snoot in the attic of the garage because you can never have too many snoots for a car that you cannot get anywhere.
Now, when you say snoot, you mean
just literally the header panel, where the headlight bezels, headlights, grill. I tried taking off the bumper and then realized the bumper was knackered. Then I tried taking off the valance panel below it, and then I realized that's dented and neck. It just oh god, it was. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like I was hoping to get the bumpers, the valance, and the header panel off that car. Only the header panel was salvageable because you know why? The rear bumper was totally torn up. The front bumper was torn up even before I had a chance to even like take it off. Yeah, so took the overflow coolant reservoir, which was in good shape. Those things are hard to find when they're not totally brittle, like chalk or a saltine crack. Took the cruise control servo off that car. Actually, oh, and the rear taillights. They're not from my car. I'm not putting them on my car, not keeping them for my car, but I'm going to sell them. I'm actually going to flip some good money on it. I paid $30 for taillights that I could probably sell for $200.
Wow.
And you know what? I know exactly where I can go with it. That could be good. That could go for good use to someone who actually could use it. There is someone with a Z24 who has no taillights whatsoever, not even the harness. I'm going to try to convince him to buy it from me, that he has an entire assembly, including harness, for his car. Because he could use it, because he obviously doesn't have it. I would rather have him have it than someone else hoard it, because it goes into no use, because it's not going on a car. So, just going to have to contact him in a bit, just to see if he's interested in buying. And since you can't get that stuff online, I'm the only one having one at this moment.
I will say, completely like semi-related, but not really directly related to Grammarly. And I know you can disable this on any phone or device. Autocorrect is another feature that comes on a lot of things. And for someone like me who references cat things a lot, it's very frustrating after years of typing loafing and loafs and loaf that it still tries to spell loading.
Yep.
On me. How long have I been typing loafing? And this device still hasn't realized that I am a loaf, that I like to loaf.
You would think it would actually figure stuff out eventually, but
how's your bisque?
It's amazing. The soup Nazi was nice to me, but I only had to stare at his mustache this time. And then he yelled at me to get out. But his bisque is amazing.
I bet that's not all that's amazing of his. So
Thursday, perfectly fine. You know, the injection site, tender. Actually, not even tender, just non-existent. Friday morning, I'm waking up in a state of hell. I'm all sore all over my whole body. Then I had to get to work. Then I get to my bus. Milwaukee roads are awful. I'd be shocked if we're not the worst road network system in America.
Yeah.
We have potholes the size of human bodies. My alignment of the bus keeps changing every hour. I will let go of the steering wheel. It'll go left 1 hour. Eventually, the bumps will knock the alignment the other way. That's just how bad it is. But me being rattling around in my driver's cab, I felt like an agitator ball in a spray can. I was absolutely infuriated with life. I have never been in so much pain. I have never even felt that much back pain before, but in my entire body. But my neck and spine, for the most part, were totally raw. I felt like I was on fire on the inside. I was so inflamed. I did not want to call off work in the middle of a shift because that would only put more workload on my fellow drivers. I wanted to stick it out. I mean, if there's anything about what my family told me is to keep on keeping on, and oh my God, that was a rough 12 hours. That was a living hell. I've never felt so much pain in my life. And I have a bad back and an ankle that didn't set very right. But that booster, oh my God, it felt like I was left in a cage match with 14 werewolves. Not the cute, cuddly, ooh-hoo, and then, punching you lightly and then cuddling you afterwards. No, this is 14 werewolves of they want your lunch money. They won't take no or a yes for an answer. They'll just beat you up anyway. And that was just 12 hours of my day is being punched by the really, really muscular, bony fists of werewolves, punching me practically everywhere, and then punching me for 12 hours. And they didn't take your lunch money, even if you gave it to them. They just like to punch you anyway. So that was my Friday, and it was hell on earth. Oh my God. Oh, it was bad. I could not actually believe how bad it actually was. My first Moderna shot, nothing at all. The same shoulder every time. Would feel sore, but only this shoulder would be sore. Not a problem. Second Moderna shot. Felt ill for about 7 hours, went to bed anyway. Woke up next morning, felt just fine, carried on. A booster is half a dose of an ordinary vaccine, as the nice lady behind the counter had explained it to me. Okay, all right. Then if the first two worked out just fine, the booster should be a-okay. I should be all right. No, that was a big mistake to think that. Oh, I was not expecting. Oh no. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Did you take your booster?
Yeah,
How did it go?
fine.
Which one did you get?
Moderna.
Moderna. They must have given me more than just one dose. I don't know how. It kicked my ass. You know how I felt Friday night,
Yeah.
right? I felt like off. I felt ill, right?
You looked bad.
Yeah. You probably haven't seen me that bad since the last time I got sick, and it wasn't even that bad. That was bad. So, yeah, I survived. I'm actually doing okay. This ain't sore. Only the injection spot is the only thing left that's still sore. Beyond that, everything else I'm perfectly fine. But it hit me hard. And a lot of people say they got hit by trucks. I just got punched by 14 werewolves. Or if it was a werehoosk, it'd just be one werehoosk, and he'd probably still not take your lunch money, but he'd probably cuddle you afterwards. Like, okay, I'm sorry, and then you'd forgive him because he's just adorable. So, so there's that. And then the next day, which was yesterday, I am so glad I'm doing much better now. Saturday, me and Briggs Buckingham decided to go to a science fiction convention. My very first science fiction convention ever. And you know what? It was really chill. I was badge number 682, and Briggs was 683. So this was about 10:30 in the morning when we got there at the hotel. Went to a few panels. Oddly enough, not much of going on. There's no one dressed in costume. There are a few people that dress in costume. Just
What kind of costume?
Just science fiction, military stuff.
Basic cosplay stuff.
Yeah, it's still cosplay, except without the anime. Met a furry there. He was dressed as a Manticore sailor or naval soldier or marine or something. I'm not sure about the lore, but it is pretty interesting. I took a few stickers. I took a few ribbons. This is a science fiction convention in Chicago called Capricorn. And it is on its 42nd year since it's been around. So in that case, this convention's been around since 1980. And it was actually relatively chill. You could be the only one in fursuit the entire weekend if you decided to bring your fursuit at that moment, because there's almost, sadly, no one out and about. But then again, there's very, very few times in my con-going experiences of the past that I've gone to a convention that is sub-1,000 people. That was normally IFC when it was much more newer of a con. And,
First grade.
well, first grade for sure. Then there was For Reality, which that was that one-time only thing that I went and it's no longer with us. And there was Anthrohio, which I think was sub-1,000. But this was, I would say 600 people. I would say about 600 people. No, 700. I would say 700 people probably showed up the entire weekend. So not many after us probably, because the paneling rooms were not that always full. There was a few that were full, but never to full capacity. They were always concerned about, the COVID, spacing things out. But to be honest, there were so few people actually there that I've seen that it actually would have made no difference if you had the chairs spaced together because everyone still sat apart. It actually is a really, really chill con. And you know what?
Hearing that gives me more hope for first grade.
Yes. And we can talk about that in just a moment. But something about this made me feel a little bit special. It almost feels like I am taking a look at the beginning of the universe. Before, creation of the Milky Way, perhaps. Of course, solar system. Seeing the proto-furry fandom before we even knew what the furry fandom was even about. Because really it was just a band of people who had similar ideas and interests that got together at hotel room parties. It wasn't until I realized where we all come from is from a sign-up board, which I have on my Twitter, which, if you don't know, go on at Dustin and DaHusky on Twitter. Go look at my recent media photos. You'll find out that one photo that has, room parties on a board with, a bunch of timetables and room location and such like that. That's when I realized this is how the furry fandom begun, because I'm going to say this. Now, you're going to have to, I guess not really agree. You can give your thoughts about it. Do you really think furries wander the halls of every floor of every hotel during a convention back in the 1980s, looking for a furry poster on a door to then knock and ask in?
No.
This is how it began.
Yeah.
Because you had to know where you had to look. And here, let me see if I can.
Should be able to show.
What? Okay. So this is Reverse World, but it says parties. And above that is the timetable. It's actually kind of awful. One side says Friday, one side says Saturday, one side says Sunday, and amazingly, one of them says Monday, which has been scribbled by writing down Thursday. This is how the furry fandom came to be, was through these room parties. And it wasn't until when the room parties got so big that they decided to start running panels at science fiction conventions, at anime conventions. Then we got so big from doing those panels, we decided, hey, let's start running conventions, because you know what? were big enough that were overtaking a lot of these conventions.
So is this an old photo or is this like recent?
I just took it. Yes, I just took it.
Do you
Yes,
still do it like this?
I believe that's 40 years old. I believe this is an artifact from 40 years ago.
It is an artifact.
Just looking how the aged paper, the way how the sign is made, this is like someone made this with their spare time. No one went to Kinko's and asked to make a long poster size print of something custom.
That's
Someone
crazy.
someone made that 40 years ago,
That's awesome.
and it's still being
using it.
used with a grease pen because it's actually plastic. You would then use a grease pen to actually write down your room number, the time, and when it ends and whatnot. So I saw a small window of what the furry fandom was 40 years ago, just yesterday, because it's at a small convention that wasn't really banging and busting around. It was actually really quite chill, but nothing was happening. But there's a few room parties that were also going on at that time. I don't know. What are your thoughts about something like that? Because I thought this is mind blowing.
I
That
think it's amazing, honestly.
this is legitimately how we became how we are. Is just
I
through.
remember actually going to an anime convention in Iowa.
You remember what it's called?
I don't. Because all these kids that I worked with at Blockbuster Video were talking about going. And one of them, the one that kind of organized the whole thing, was making a dress for a cosplay that she was going to be doing. She literally sewed the dress on the drive to the convention,
That
and it was good. I mean, she was very good at
sounds like a
sewing.
very, very con-like thing to do.
It is. But I mean, when we got there, people were taking pictures of her, and I was like, "Wow, you're actually famous." It's like, no, I'm just cosplaying a character that they're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what a convention even was. I just thought, con, I'll go. Sure, why not? We were only staying the night, and then the room party that we had was just us and maybe one other person from somewhere else. And the stupid shit we did, bouncing on the beds. We literally had the beds lined up
Just bounced around.
from one bed to the other to the wall to see who could take out the picture. It was hanging on the wall.
I can say this. The only time we were at the executive wing at MFF, which was 2013.
Yep.
We had a contest of who could make a dent in the ceiling by jumping on the bed. The answer is it's not possible. You just dent your head.
Who was that?
It's Tiger 666. He's a good guy though. Actually, he seems to be doing pretty good though. Last I checked, but
Isn't that the year he had just gotten his fursuit? Or who was that was picking up a fursuit at that con?
It wasn't him, as far as I
It
know.
was somebody else. Was it Power? Did we run with Power?
We may have.
I think we did.
It was a zine, right?
Yeah, I think it was Power.
I think it was.
I think he was.
It was with Philco too.
He was literally picking up his Philco. No.
We roomed with Philco once before.
No, not Philco.
Yeah.
What's his name? That I went off on. No, it was Philco. It wasn't what's his name.
Klaus?
No, that was IFC.
Yep. Okay, so continue with the story because this just keeps on. This will keep on going.
So my first con, the anime convention in Iowa, which I don't know the name of it. But yeah, I literally decided to go 5 minutes before they took off for it.
When you could have gone home.
I had no idea I was going to be gone for hours and hours. Actually, I think we only stayed the day. I think we drove home that same day.
And Iowa's pretty far away.
Well, from where we were at, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Aurora, Naperville, it was only like hour and a half drive, maybe an hour
Oh,
drive.
so it was only barely in the state.
Yeah, it was just over the border.
Oh, well, then that's not so bad. I thought of like Des Moines. It's like, holy shit.
No,
That's a drive.
it was literally just over the border. Isn't Iowa City close to the border between Illinois and Iowa?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well. Regardless, I mean, that was my first con experience and it was crazy. And sadly, it was not the first unprepared con experience. My other unprepared con experience was my first MFF, which again, I had just found out about the furry fandom maybe a week before the convention was going to happen. A friend of mine on Facebook had pointed me to Giftstar, which had already been changed to So Furry.
So Furry in 2009. Yep.
Because we were writing fan fictions about Khajiit in Skyrim, and he pointed me to the direction of So Furry. I started posting things on there. Immediately started getting views. People liked my fan fictions that I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Keep going.
and next thing you know, I'm talking to people and connecting with people, and they're telling me about conventions. And then I looked up out of morbid curiosity the one in Chicago that I kept hearing about. Found out it was happening like 5 or 6 days prior, or five or 6 days from when I had looked it up. So I decided then and there I was going to go. And I also decided I was going to volunteer, so they would pay for my registration because I had no idea it was going to be, you know, 40-50 bucks for a weekend pass.
Which actually is pretty cheap back. Well, it was expensive back then. It's
then.
cheap now.
Yeah.
Now it's, I don't even know what it is. I think it was like 80 now, 70.
70, 80, I think 75, 80.
We used to complain about prices back then.
Well, everything
goes up for the
everything
benefit of the
affects.
convention. That, that's one thing.
So I really had that all planned out. The only thing I did not plan out was I figured, it's a Chicago con. I knew how long it would take me to get there, which was about a 40-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I initially figured go check it out, come back home, maybe go back the next day. But then I started, as working. I was literally working in the registration line.
Uh-huh.
I was the person that gave you your badge.
You probably were, without even realizing it.
Yep. That was the year that Tyser went, and I don't know what exactly went on. All I know is that they had no record of him paying for it, and he swore up and down he paid for it.
That's when he still lived in Russia, right?
Yeah.
Which, in his currency, he spent a lot of money to get there. I mean, like the dollar to ruble exchange rate still today is god awful. Back then, it's no different.
I mean, he went through the entire line in fursuit, to pick up his badge. I don't know what ever happened.
I think they may have just probably dropped it since he was from international.
Probably.
And that since mistakes can occur, and since he's traveled pretty quite far, considering that a lot of the people that go to MFF are from the contingent from the contingent 48, from Mexico and from Canada. Something you could still drive to. If you're flying from Russia, of all places, they could probably make the exception and say, okay, we can probably take the hit on this one.
Now, he also roomed with Woody.
Oh, so he probably had connections anyway, just to say, hey, look, Woody probably paid for it and said, hey, just put it under the bridge.
Yep. Because apparently he roomed exclusively with Woody. So First, I was hoping I would be able to like luck out and room with Woody. That was in no way, shape, or form going to happen.
What again?
No.
Oh wait, as in it didn't happen.
Right, it did not happen because he had a wait list of people that wanted a room with him.
I mean, I can understand. I've got a list of people that I normally go through with my rooms to see if they would be interested first in wanting it.
Right.
So,
and then I met some people that I work with in registration, and we clicked really, really well. And I thought, this is perfect. I can just room with you guys. And they were like, no. We basically just want it to be us, nobody else. And I was like almost begging. I was like, please, I'm a really good roommate. I'm very respectful.
yeah, you really went in without ever. Oh, yeah,
I
that's
had
rough.
no idea.
That is, which you know better now, but
I do.
That is a way not to do things, is to go to a convention and hoping to find somewhere and someone to room with.
I had no clue. This is literally my second con ever, and first furry con ever. So then I decided I wasn't going to go home that night. I decided I would drive somewhere dark and sleep in my car, which was such a bad idea because I was still
it's
Silver Wolf.
Right, and it's November, so it's not as cold as December now, but it's still cold.
Yeah, it was still cold. And my backseat it's not.
You're a very tall cat for such a very
like,
small
it's not a
backseat.
Buick where it's just one big long, thing that you can lay on that's even. No, it dips down and comes back up and dips down and comes back up again. So imagine me in the back seat trying to like
conform like liquid cat.
God, it was so horrible. I'm not liquid. I am not liquid.
You are a solid cat.
I was so uncomfortable. When I finally started to fall asleep, right before I like you could feel yourself slipping.
Yeah.
I decided right then and there, no, I can't sleep like this. And I tried to sit up, and I pulled a muscle in my back.
That's knowing your luck. This is something that would happen.
So then I decided there's a motel literally that I was parked behind. I'm going to get a room in this motel. So I got a room, got in there. It was, a Motel 6, probably the cheapest thing you can sleep in. I was like, fuck it, I don't care. It's this or I go home. And it was too late at that point. It had to be like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And back then, for me, that's really late. And slept well. Decided to leave my car in the parking lot. I asked them, is it okay to leave my car in the parking lot?
I take it you got a hotel stay for the whole weekend.
Yeah, I just paid for the next night.
Oh, okay.
Up front there. And then I walked all the way from that Motel 6 all the way to convention.
I don't know how far this Motel 6 is because I'm not familiar.
It's a good 2.5 blocks down, maybe 3 blocks down.
Mileage wise,
probably a little over a half mile.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever walked past more than a quarter mile.
It was a good half-hour walk, I would say.
Okay.
25, 30-minute walk.
I don't think I've walked that north or south.
Towards away from the airport.
Okay.
So I don't know what direction it is.
Anyway, so pretty much your first time going to conventions has been on the fly, and not really well.
Yeah, not planned.
Not plan, which is the worst thing you can do for a convention. Which is something that's a good example of what not to do.
Yeah.
Me and Kurdan will do a little series on how to do your own. Well, not how to do your own convention. That's, oh my God, that's something else. But how to go to a convention, and we both are going to talk about what to do and what not to do. This is not what you should do for your first convention by absolutely, I'm going to go, and then go without knowing what you need to do. That's still in the works. I know, Alpha, you're very excited to hear what we have to say. We just haven't got to it yet, but we're going to get to it for you.
What are we getting to?
Stuff. So yeah, so then there's convention time, or there's like on the subject of conventioning, which I'm just going to just do a short Capricorn 42, being its 42nd year, in review from my perspective. I get a little badge. I am.
That's not little. Oh, there's a pin.
Yes. I actually, it's been a while since I got a pin. So this just shows how small a convention this really is when they're still using paper and little plastic sleeves. But if you pre-reg, you still got a paper or like a plastic actual card.
Use your real name. Oh no,
that's on the other side.
That's
no,
the backside. That's the backside.
And this is always going to be my my convention name. I would never use my own real name. I also learned a new skill throughout the weekend for how short it was. I think we were there 10:30. We left about 5:30. We weren't there for very long, actually. But time stood still. It actually felt longer. So, hey, why not? So, I decided to create something of my own. Something that the science fiction, I believe the anime convention called these Build-A-Blinkies. And First Square did this too with their badges.
Yep.
But this is actually something normally done at science fiction conventions.
Wow, it looks really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
So,
Changing color. It's great.
I'm going to turn these off just to show the design.
Blue.
I actually built these. I actually learned how to solder. So this is the Capricorn logo. It's a goat with a. Actually, no, it's a ram. I think it's actually a ram that's got Capricorn.org. Got these little LEDs and got a little pin, a power switch, and a battery. And a gentleman had told me or had taught me how to weld, how to solder with a soldering iron.
The mask down.
Welding Hoosk! And just absolutely go through like so many plates of metal. So this is the first one that I made, and I was pretty proud of it. So I had already bought a second one. This is another convention in September in Chicago. This is actually a Worldcon. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But this is what this one looks like. It's got 4 LEDs, a little pin, and same power switch and a battery. And apparently, so now going from as I drop it, there are actually used to be 3 major conventions that were science fiction in the city of Chicago. One of them is WindyCon. The other is Capricorn. And the final one is DuckCon. DuckCon is the convention that spun off Midwest Fur Fest. After we were told you guys are growing too big, you need to do something about that. And furries decided in 1999, sure, we'll do that. And in 2000, MFF was born. But DuckCon continued to its unfortunate demise in 2016, when overall attendance of this convention just eventually evaporated, and the non-for-profit organization could not pay their bills to pretty much their hotel contracts to keep them afloat. Eventually, whatever money that they did spend, they had nothing left to really continue, and they just, decided to close it down. There was what was called a I forget what they called it. I was told by a staff member of all 3 conventions, including for MFF. So this is a staff member of 4 conventions at one point. And it was supposed to be a cooperation of 3 conventions, each one piggybacking off each other, because each one used the staff of each other's con. So they both all had the support that they ever needed. They just changed from one organization to another. I don't know how that would work, but they just somehow make it work. Well, unfortunately, DuckCon's no more, but there's still WindyCon, and then there's Capricon. But since 1939, there's always been a WorldCon of science fiction. This year, Chicago had won the bid a few years ago to have WorldCon in Chicago for the 8th time in a row. Hence why it's called ChiCon 8.
Wow.
And this apparently this year's theme is called Take to the Stars. So now that we're talking about non-furcon related stuff, let's talk about science fiction conventions and anime conventions. So I'm just going to talk about the science fiction conventions, and I'll have you talk about anime conventions. No, but like the one that we plan on going to next week.
Oh.
So it's in September. It's a Memorial Day week. No, it's after Memorial Day weekend. Was that the first con that happened in America? I don't know what the first. I think WorldCon happened for the very first time in 1939 in its first year, so I'm not sure. Someone may have to look that up. I'm not sure. But that may be the first time a convention's ever been held. It would be in Chicago, perhaps. This is a WorldCon. It cycles every 2 years to different cities around the world if they can bid into it by the constituents of those nations. If someone pays enough money to get their bid higher, whoever country, WorldCon. Let's take a look.
I just held every year since 1939.
Yeah, I just want to know where it began in 1939. That doesn't say. Doesn't say. But anyway,
it wasn't held during World War II.
I kind of figured that they just didn't have the time or the effort or the interest. So with that, this is pretty cool. I don't know if I'll have the time off to go, and if I do keep my current route, which I'm really hoping to, because if I don't, I call bullshit on the station because I put way too much effort into my job that I should always bid into the route that I'm very happy with, because I've put up with, the bullshit of, not just the city. Cities don't have a problem with the city. It's other drivers and the station. That's okay though, because I'm never there while I'm working because I'm out and about, so that's okay. I would not mind going to as many conventions in a year. This year would be fun to see how far I can go to a convention. Well, like not how far, but how many conventions I can go to that does not require me to at least use a hotel room. To maybe go there for one day or one night and then enjoy the rest of the day and then head on my way home on Sunday night. So my goal is to check into WindyCon, see what that's all about. Think about ChiCon. Be the only chance I could get to a WorldCon would be pretty fun to check out. Now that we talk about science fiction conventions, let's talk about anime conventions. And I think they're pretty fun too. And I honestly think anime conventions might be the most active ones. Because I've been to ASEN. That's huge. That's busy.
ASEN's in Chicago, right?
Yes. That's in the same place as MFF. Then I've been to KitsuneCon up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And that's a lot of fun, even though I've only been there the last 52 minutes of the whole convention. And then everybody scattered home. And then we had pizza. It was a good time. But the real the only time I had fun at a anime convention for 12 hours was ASIN. No, sorry. AMKey, Anime Milwaukee, which is next weekend.
It is next weekend.
And me and the cat, when you get back from work, planning a little drive down to the downtown area and do a little bit of fursuiting, which I'm going to tell you this. They're going to love us. Actually, I have never had so much attention before at any convention besides an anime convention. Like, I was taking pictures left and right. People wanted to, pose with me and whatnot. It was amazing. People from other countries, from around the world, wanted to take pictures of me. It was incredible.
I'm looking forward. This will be the first time I've been to an anime convention since my first oddball experience. And my first experience at fursuiting at a con that isn't a furry con.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
And honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun because the reaction is so much different. And people are pretty respectful because you know what? Nerds, Trekkies, Star Wars fans, furries, anime fans, we're all misunderstood by our own families, friends, and society. There is no real space to judge each other because you know what? To the rest of the world, we're weird. But to among each other, we're actually quite similar in a lot of ways that we're just quite normal. So I would like to go to more sci-fi conventions just to see what it's like. Go to maybe a few anime conventions in the state. I know there's I know there's Kitsune Con in Green Bay. That'd be fun. There's Anime Milwaukee this upcoming weekend in Milwaukee, of all places.
Now you work Friday.
Yes. So by the time that I get off of work, you would be long there. So you can actually go Friday.
I'm considering going as Spidey on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
people are going to love you for that.
And I'm not going to be wearing a mask just for visibility purposes because I haven't really tested out the mask. I've made holes in the mask. I've put the magnets on the face shell in the mask, but I'm still not 100% confident. And there's a little odd, like, seam issue that I have on the mask coming out of the. So I just don't like it.
You're actually not a fan of the headpiece.
Well,
so.
It's not just that. I want to do some sewing on it to tighten up some areas so that it looks better. So I'm not ready to con in it yet. So I'll just be going.
Yeah, that's actually perfectly fine.
Half out of suit.
Yeah, that's actually perfectly fine. That I mean, people are going to take pictures of you anyway.
Yeah.
Don't make any difference to anyone. They're going to take pictures of you anyway.
And I definitely learned from my accidental compliance that I did this past MFF, wearing undergarments so that genitalia are not visible.
Yeah, you need to
so that I don't.
Because they're kids. They're kids at this convention.
There are kids at this convention. I don't want my junk poking out at them.
You don't need to point the way in a parade.
Yeah. Luckily, I complied. MFF. It seemed like the right thing to do. Without even looking up guidelines.
I mean, you're being decent. Otherwise, they would have pulled you inside and say, "Hey, you have to
You need to fix this thing that you got pointing around in there."
So
your snake.
So you would be going Friday. Yeah. I definitely like to plan on going Saturday because I think that's going to be the biggest night of the weekend.
Yep.
So immediately after when you get home from work, I'm just going to partial in my Star Trek uniform.
You're not going to full suit it?
Oh no. No, not without a room and not because once once I leave my car,
I thought for a second you were going to say Consuelo.
I could have said Consuelo. But yeah, it's only going to be partialing. It'll be easier for me, and really, car is home base. If I need something, I'm going back to car.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have my keys with me.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
So if you want a full suit, you
I
can
am
full
going to
suit.
be full suiting,
All
and
right.
I'm considering wearing
Because we're going to be
my what
because
shirt?
because you're going to be suiting up in the garage. So
I'm considering wearing my what cat shirt
oh, the murderous cat shirt.
with
Oh,
with the knife.
you're going to be loved.
Yeah.
And y'all have a con. You know what? I have so many people over the years have told me to start running a furry convention up in Green Bay. Because there's one in Milwaukee, well, really Brookfield, Wisconsin, but really it's a suburb of Milwaukee, but it's not Milwaukee like people think it is. Because I am from this area, and I can tell you it's not Milwaukee.
Even though they call it Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, it's closest to Milwaukee, but I'm glad all the advertisements say Brookfield, Wisconsin, because. And then there's a Quadrifer up in the Dells, which is not really the Dells because it's actually outskirt of the Dells.
Really, Quantifer was in Wisconsin. I thought it was.
No, it's in Wisconsin.
Different state.
Nope. But then people have been telling me I should start a con up in Green Bay, which would be perfect, but that requires a lot of time and money. The money is not a problem, even though that wanting to get a house next year, that will be a problem then. So really, nah. But there's been a new happening lately. Well, not lately, it's nothing new. However, if I'm going to be doing a con, it's going to be my own convention. It's going to be called the Hoosk Con. If I get a good enough backyard property, I'm probably going to do like a mini bonfire-esque event. But it's literally going to be kind of like a whole weekend thing in my backyard. And I have no idea what I plan on doing. But if it's going to be a convention, sure.
I would love to provide the entertainment and show movies and DJ for you so that there's music.
I mean, if I bought a farm, oh my God, you know what? Campground. At that point, we found the venue. It's my backyard.
I would show movies on the side of a barn.
If the idea of me driving 40 minutes to an hour to work, which I really don't want to, because the idea is to move closer to work, but like talking about my grandma looking at houses, she did find a house with a barn and a large property that was pretty affordable.
How big was the property?
Acres, like
God, that would have been perfect.
many acres.
You know what?
But it's in Racine.
Could still happen, and it could be closer.
This would mean I'd have to drive nearly 40 minutes to work.
It doesn't have to be that property. It could be another property similar.
Right.
But do we want to talk about the other thing real quick?
Sure. I think we talked about conventions well enough. So, what was some other things we also wanted to talk about?
The other thing we wanted to talk about was Crazy Horse.
That's right. The monument.
The monument.
So you gone as a young poos when they just began.
Yep.
And it was still a mountain.
The only thing that we could make out was they did chalk the outline of what it was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the hole punch already underneath his arm.
Oh, really? So that was already done?
That had already been made. They had been blowing dynamite for years to get that hole made.
Really? Wow. And now they've kind of got his outline of his head.
His head's done.
His head's done?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because I would love to go back in 10 years. Because it's been 6 years. Yeah, it's been about 6 years since I've gone to South Dakota to see the Crazy Horse Monument in person. But it'll be fun to see what goes on in the next 10 years to see how far they can go. Yeah, it's a long time. I could go every year and see not much difference. That's amazing.
His face is done.
His face is done. That's incredible. Not sure if you'll see.
It will pick up as long as I get close enough.
Oh yeah, see?
It's pretty awesome.
That's the face of Crazy Horse. When they get the horse head done, that's going to be amazing.
Oh my God.
If you do get a house, does this mean no more cons? I don't think it's going to mean no more cons, but this would certainly mean the slowdown of things I'd want to do.
That is so cool.
That is a lot of work. And you told me that this is all volunteer work.
Yeah.
The government is not paying for this, which
has declined to ever back this.
That's a shame
because he's not an American president. He's an American native.
That's kind of insulting.
It is a slap in the face.
I think
I'm sorry, but they were here before us.
Mm-hmm.
And he deserves a monument.
But no, I don't think if I get a house, I don't think it's going to slow. It's going to make me a bit more conservative with my money, which I'm pretty good with money for the most part, at least where to allocate it and how much to save and whatnot. I would probably still do 3 cons a year just because it's nice to get away. That's going to be pretty good.
I mean, that's it now.
That's pretty fantastic.
That's amazing. This was posted 2 years ago. They've made progress since then.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. Sorry, I keep going back to Crazy Horse.
I do like to spend money when I've got the money that I can spend. When I know that I got some cushion, then I spend what I think is a good amount, and then I don't spend much more than I'd ever need to.
I'm the one that doesn't spend.
He's actually very good at saving all of his money.
I mean, I just bought a bed, but I bought it with not even half of my tax refund.
You have good tax refunds. I have to fix my tax refund, which I think we'll probably do this upcoming week because let's just get that done too. At least while it's still pretty early. Yeah, for some reason and it was both of them, both state and federal.
Yep.
So stupid.
It seems to me there's just a thing in there that they automatically bounces back.
Probably from 2020 or 2019, and my dad's kind of screwed it up. So looks like I am stuck with that for a while until they change it to a different year that is more consistent, being it is the right number. Because there's a number that he made up that I don't know where it came from. Like I got an extra $200. I have no idea why he would do that, but he just did it.
Got you in trouble,
dude. Last year and now this year, so. But like I don't really spend money on a whole lot much, and normally, if I'm buying stuff that I'm going to use, normally I tend to keep it for a very long time. When it comes to tools, all right, I might spend good money on tools, but tools are good. Unless you lose it or you break it, you keep using it. There's no need to replace something unless you can't use it anymore. Some people just buy stuff just to buy stuff out of the hell of it. Or if I can get stuff secondhand, I'd rather do that and not have to pay for it. So I can be resourceful with a lot of things. Sometimes you're better off biting the bullet while you can. On others, it's pretty much when you're able to, but saving money.
By the way, game night is next Saturday. You probably don't want to go.
Oh no, actually we'd both be at we would both be at con, which honestly I think would be a lot more fun, and I think you'll have a better time than listening to Screaming Shepherd telling us to play Secret Hitler while we're all finishing a game, which, oh my god, that agitates me. Okay, so
don't even get into it.
No. I'm just gonna say this much.
Don't get into it.
No, I'm just gonna say this much. Okay. If you're at a place, you're playing games, board games, have 2 different groups, 3 different groups playing games, and you yourself want everyone to play a game, but there's still one group of people that are still playing their game, and if you annoy them to finish up a game or to quit a game so that they can play your game, that is a very, very rude thing to do, especially when they're enjoying that game, and they should not have to be rushed to finish their game just so that we can shut you up.
Moving
on. Let's see.
I think we should probably wrap this up because I got a few things I have left to do before sleep. I did make another alteration on my suit today.
Oh yeah, that's
or
right.
More of an update, really, because I'm really seriously considering entering dance competitions.
Let's actually talk about that.
Cons. I've been choreographing and practicing. You've watched me. To a Not All About That Bass song by Meghan Trainor.
Wait.
Not All About That Bass.
Okay, all right, continue.
So, because it is sung by a female, for the purposes of the song, I will be portraying my persona as a female. I don't identify as a female. I have no problem with it. It's just I'm only doing it for fun, and I don't want to do it in a derogatory manner or anything to disrespect anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm literally just doing it for the sole purpose of the piece that I have chosen. It's not here. You'll have to see it another time. And he's gone anyway. But yeah, I usually have angry eyes on my fursuit head. And recently I added
you added doe eyes.
Doe eyes, which is very common in female cosmetics, drag, etc. So yeah, I did that, and I cleaned my fur.
You gave him a wash.
Gave my fursuit head a wash so that it matches up again with the rest of my bodysuit, which is clean. So that I'm just trying to really be early on prepared for next upcoming cons and events. Which actually, now that I did that, I'm actually pretty happy. I'll be ready for anime convention next weekend. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward. And stuff. And whiskers.
I think, considering that they've got me starting at 5 on a Monday, which means that they're eating away my own weekend hours to whatever you would call it,
personal time.
Well, not just my personal time, but to comply with their schedule.
Yeah.
Even though that I have my own schedule, but I am told that I can start an hour early or an hour late, which on the hour or an hour late, is fine by me, but an hour early is like during the week, okay, sure. But you're telling me this on Sunday where it's like, oh, so I have to go to bed early an hour or so. So I can't get much of anything I'd like to get done on my own free time. So it's just perpetual, just falling behind on whatever, or just not, just not enjoying my own time off. As what people have told me, this is a 24-hour job. Even your mind's not at ease at work, which the pay is great. I love what I do, but the dispatchers should just get a slap in the face because they're the ones that get to go home not worrying about when they come into work.
Yep.
Because their times never change. Yep. They like to piss us off by changing our times when we come in. So
because they like to make empty promises to people about pickup times. Then again, people probably request like very specific times. How does that work? They just call in and say, I have a doctor's appointment at like 6:30, so
that's through reservations, but you got to do that a way ahead in advance to do what you want to do.
Days in advance.
If you do it on the spot, they're gonna like, no, we can't do that.
So days in advance.
Yep. However, that would mean.
I'm surprised that like the service even still exists with ride services like with Uber and the Go Grandparents thing and everybody else. There's so many.
I think it's cheaper.
This is probably
it's very cheap.
Cheaper because it's a ride share.
Yep. Or else a taxi's probably going to pay. Like you've taken Uber to Chicago, and you know how that's expensive.
Yeah. So
really, if you think about it, this is the cheapest service that they can possibly get.
Right. But you don't wait around like if they have a doctor's appointment and they're going to be there for a half an hour.
No, we keep moving. We never stay. Wait. Once we get them to the door, we fuck off. We got other things to do. We got to go.
Yeah.
We don't wait for anyone.
The longest you wait is what, 9 or 10 minutes to pick somebody up?
5. If they're not out the door in 5, I leave. You're wasting a lot of people's time on the bus. You're wasting my time. You waste the service's time. This is through the state of the county. This is through MCTS. Oh, yeah, and it ruins everyone's day. If you're not on time, and if you say, I'm coming out, like if you're coming out now, you got to come out now. If you're not, I don't have the choice, but dispatch is going to have to, most people tend to be on time because they've been through with the service long enough to know better. Yeah. But there's some people that do know better and they do worse.
Well,
I think it's a good time.
Alpha's not back yet.
What's that?
Alpha's not back, but we have to. I'm getting sleepy.
I mean, the idea was an hour, 30 minutes, but we've kind of ran out of topics for this time. There's already a topic that I want to talk about for next time, so we'll just wait for then. Yeah. Something about rail transportation in the state of Wisconsin.
The only other thing we didn't really touch on too much was everybody wants to sell us something.
Oh, that's right. Okay, very
fortune cookie thing that you had.
Very quickly. These ad services are getting pretty shitty these days, and no matter where you go, you're going to find it. In the state of California, they're developing license plates that are digital that are part of your car. What is it to say that suddenly your license plate will say a number and then all of a sudden say drink Pepsi? What? Like, not to say that they wouldn't.
Your door, somebody's selling you something.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised that they'll have doors that before you leave, they're going to ask you, oh, hey, you want to have a Dr. Pepper?
Mirrors that don't just show your reflection, all of a sudden they show you, something else for fitness or nutrition.
Yeah. You crack open a fortune cookie, and I think the fortune says it pays for the small details. Then on the other side, it says, get $300 off on a stock that you choose or something. It's like, whoa, that's too specific. Because you know why? It was done on purpose. So even fortune cookies are even getting on this, which at this point, what would be the point? At that point, you ruin the whole you 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 ruin the whole fun and the mystique about a fortune cookie fortune. And now people won't like even bother, which I don't think many people bother anyway. But it's the whole fun of it, just to read it. Um, these ad services are getting out of control. You have to pay for services on YouTube so that you don't have to get bothered, which I refuse to pay because you know what? I don't want to pay for service that gets rid of ads that one day is going to get the ads back to that service and say, hey, now you got to pay more to get rid of these ads now.
The funny thing about that fortune cookie, it said, don't forget the small, or don't forget the small details. Or
it says it said it pays to see. No, it's not on that. It pays to look at the small details, is what the fortune said.
See, that still works with the old anecdote.
It does, but when you flip it over, yeah. I totally get with like what you're saying. Okay, now tell me.
The whole thing you're supposed to add at the end of it when you read your fortune.
In my pants.
In my pants or in bed. It still works.
Yeah. I'm just saying is that it's still a fortune in its own right, but the advertisement in the back makes it totally pointless. Yeah. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. At that point, it's no longer funny and such. It's just more like, oh, here's another pointless ad that people are trying to sell us on.
The more they try to sell us on stuff, the less I am prone to give them my money.
There's a reason why that I don't like having a dealership tags on my on my cars, because you know what? I should not have to have advertising on my car that I'm not being paid for monthly.
Yep.
I want it removed, and I'll remove it myself. Which actually, I should probably remove the front plate bracket and get something else.
Yeah.
Because that's from the old dealership, and frankly,
you're not.
I'm not loyal to them in any way. No.
You're not getting kickback. For advertising for them.
No. So in that case,
if they want to pay you a small sum, then fine, keep it on. But otherwise, I would get rid of it.
Oh yeah. At that point, I'd just rather.
This is why Instagram, like famous Instagrammers, they make money because they literally are helping sell product for these companies.
Oh yeah, and you know what's unfortunate? What's unfortunate is that some YouTubers that are like.
And YouTubers.
Okay, so a little bit of this and then we'll like sign off, is that some good YouTubers out there have a good algorithm. Yeah. However, YouTube's algorithm fights against them.
Yeah.
Mostly about history channels, about such like that. There are a lot of YouTubers that focus on world or military or any kind of history. But the problem is everyone's got some kind of agenda today, and oh no, we can't have people learn about actual history instead of Pawn Stars and Royal Oak Island, where they're digging a hole for 13 years, never find a stupid fucking thing, but yet it's something about history and whatnot. Whereas the best bits of information you can find online is on YouTube by individuals that do this in their free time and hopefully make money part-time and full-time. But because the demonetization of history on YouTube, the unfortunate bit that they don't like, that they have to do this, is to take on a sponsorship and say, hello, my name is Mark Felton from Mark Felton Productions. Have you ever had itchy balls? Go try the Lawnmower 2.0. It's got a light and British tea to soak your balls.
And they're not the only ones that have to do it.
No.
Michael Henry, our favorite gay YouTuber, really? The one that does the gay bottom
That's mafia. So sad.
He's done entire skits based around PrEP, the drug for people that.
Well, that's actually a good one.
It is.
That's actually a good one.
Also, Lawnmower. Who else does Lawnmower?
Houston Johnson.
Houston Jones does
But the thing is, though, YouTube should be taking care of its most successful YouTubers that actually mean well,
Yeah.
support them. But no, all they do is ruin their careers and lives so that they have to stoop down to become spokespersons of products that could easily do without them.
Yeah.
But you know what? They'll say, "Oh well, we can give you money if you just take a lawnmower 2.0 and put it like a bowl."
The worst part about it is the fake YouTube channels that do nothing but advertise.
Oh yeah, and then they
And-
make. Oh, they actually sell themselves.
Yeah.
They sell themselves out. They make
Yeah.
millions.
I hate those channels.
It's pretty depressing. The idea of being a YouTuber is totally dead now. It's all about streaming. It's all about being a Twitch, which eventually, you know what? Uh, don't put your full horse or don't put a full cart on your horse yet on Twitch, because eventually they said that about YouTube, that YouTube's going to be a good way to go. Twitch is all going to fall apart in a few years, believe me.
Yeah.
It's going to be a matter of time before Twitch users are going to get totally flipped the other end and say, "Oh crap, none of this is profitable for us. We can't make any money on it." Because now Twitch realizes they could make more money by not paying its members that are actually succeeding the most. It's literally about screwing your own customers. I don't want to make this a rant, but it's true.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I am becoming a Debbie Downer. It's just a cycle that we notice from one platform to another. It just carries on. I'm not making money on YouTube at all because you know why? I don't believe in it. None of this is monetized because you know what? If I have to monetize it, anytime I say the word fuck, I get demonetized. I can say fuck because I'm not monetized.
Fucking machine.
Fucking machine. Fucking machine.
Fucking
Fucking machine. So
that too
is a fucking machine. This is a sawzall. It can cut drywall. And fuck. So now we're off the air and never coming back on again because YouTube does not like us saying the word fucking machine about, I would say about 10 times, maybe 14 times. We must have said that a lot. And actually, we're getting close to our 90-minute mark anyway, so I guess we may as well probably wrap this up in a few minutes. But seriously, though, it's something I've noticed for the last few years that every single, what you would call it, what do you call this kind of industry where people, this streaming, or pretty much their own livelihood is online. They make their money online like PewDiePie. PewDiePie is the only one that's ever been successful, and you know what? He's done a lot of stupid things too, and yet he's still on the air and he's still making millions.
And he's done South Park episodes, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
He was sick for the episode that they taped. He had like a cold or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he's very successful.
Oh yeah.
The guy that I used to watch, the heavyset guy that did the guy that lost his World of Warcraft account. What was his name?
Oh, it's a meme. Yeah, that guy that smashes the keyboard. That's not fair. That's not fair, right? That guy.
Yeah. He's like, hey guys, Francis. It's not really his name, but it's his character's one of his character names. Is Francis. Hey guys, it's Francis again. He starts going on about this World of Warcraft. Make it too hard. He just goes on for like 20 minutes about World of Warcraft, and the new expansion is too hard.
That's
like this.
That's actually the joy about gaming, is that it gives you a challenge to keep thinking.
He's a genius.
See, I would love to game if I had the time in the world, but the problem is I can never be a gamer because I don't have enough time.
See, that guy, he doesn't even game. He just literally talks about it.
This one example,
Francis, you never see him actually gaming.
Okay.
You see keyboards and controllers being thrown, but you never see the game.
He could be clicking on buttholes on Pornhub or something.
He's not even in front of a computer for all we know. He's just in front of a camera. He's got a keyboard, a mouse.
He could be looking at fursuiters.
He gets his wife to do skits with him. She acts like she's his mother. It's hilarious.
That's funny. Okay, now that's actually
his
funny.
Girlfriend
Yeah.
literally plays his mom in the
That's
skits.
incredible. Okay, you know what? All right,
We
that's
should
actually
go
pretty-
through Francis videos again. They're so funny. Like he's constantly like begging for treats and soda, and she's like, "No, Francis, you can't have that anymore. You can't drink Dr. Pepper anymore because your doctor told you can't." Like it's sheer genius. That guy is a genius. But
And anyway,
oh,
we
yeah.
have actually officially reached the 90-minute mark, and I got to get ready for work tomorrow and clean up and such like that. And Kat's got to go to bed. So, anyway, this has been another episode of the Zooming Who's podcast, and I'm your host, Dustin Husky. And we'll probably chat either this Thursday or this Sunday regarding Anime Milwaukee and our experiences. So, tune in for Thursday or Sunday, and we'll let you know ahead. So, you mean Boogie? Yes, we are going to boogie
Yes.
our way out.
Boogie is the YouTuber I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Boogie 323621 or something.
Something like that.
I'll look him up. He's phenomenal. He's a great actor, and on top of all the characters he plays, he does share a lot of his trials and tribulations of like his health and his like going up and down and losing weight because he's a very very heavy set guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big guy, so he's been through it. We're lucky to have him around still.
All right. We should probably head off because my day starts earlier and normally you'd be in bed right now. So let us sign off and have our week start tomorrow. So anyway, thanks for all who are listening tonight, and we'll catch you next time.